2 minutes on what's going on with the attempted assassination of former president. And I think there are generally three feelings that people have been having over these things since Saturday, actually. And friends of mine have called me. Friends of mine from different countries have called me and says, "What's going on in your country?" And I said, well, a lot like every other country, except this is more bizarre, I suppose. But I think there's genuinely people are confused, and who wouldn't? We can't get a straight answer. We don't even know how it happened. We don't even know why that boy was a 20-year-old boy, got away with a ladder and a rifle and going up to a roof, and people saw him, but nobody else did. Just a lot of questions. And some people say it was all staged. This is all theater. Some people say this is one big setup, so don't pay attention to it. Other people say it's just a big joke. I had people on a couple of days ago, they just laughed about it and they just make little jokes and like it's no big deal. I think all those things are probably not right. Some people say this is Revelation 13, the beast that had a mortal wound and it was healed. People have been saying that. I think that's off the wall. Some people have prophesied that they prophesied a few months ago. There's been some prophets online saying they proclaimed that this was going to happen. Trump was going to be an attempt on his life, and the Lord wouldn't let it happen. And so there's been some prophets online that said, yeah, we predicted it, and that Trump was going to become a born-again Christian and all this wonderful stuff. And, we'll wait and see. I don't think things are right. But people are confused, and who wouldn't be? And you can't get a straight answer, and I hope that they do a January 6th investigation, but I won't hold my breath because the people in charge today won't let that happen. The other feeling that people have is fear. People are very fearful today. Oh, it could happen again. If it happened once, it could generally happen again. It won't be the same way. I can't imagine it being the same way, but I wouldn't go around running around the park at night, put it that way, if I was Mr. Trump. Other people feel angry, and they want to pay back. They want to pay back against the deep state, and they want a revolution. And perhaps this is what people want at the end of the day. But I think more is going to have to be revealed for Christians to know what really happened and where do we stand as Christians. We obviously pray for this man, and we obviously pray for his salvation. And there are questions. One question that I have is, did you know that Truth Social, which is his company, his media company, that's traded on the NASDAQ, was heavily shorted the last 3 weeks? And all the shorts were due on July 15th. And, I'm shorting a stock, right? I don't want everybody assume that it isn't. So you can bet against a stock. So if it goes down, you make all kinds of money. And there were quite a bit of stock. I think like between 7 to 15 million shares against the stock that it would go down on a particular day. And I think people were thinking that he was going to die. Well, why would you short the stock before something happens? You normally would short a stock if you anticipate some bad news. And I think if he would have died, it would have been some definitely bad news, and people would have made a lot of money. So who would actually short the stock? You can find out who short the stock. You can just go online and figure out who was shorting the stock on NASDAQ. But whoever it was knew something was coming. So that's a question right there. But above all, I think Christians need to pray and need to seek the Lord and pray for discernment, because there's a lot of confusion going on. People calling themselves prophets, the mark of the beast, Revelation 13, who did it, who didn't do it. All I know is it'll be really hard for a 20-year-old boy to get away with this and to plan it all out. And a lot of the Secret Service and the DEI, the diversity, equity, and inclusion that they promote now, from airlines to Secret Service, DEI might as well be DIE, because of the problem that the Secret Service has. They don't really have any good service anymore. So DEI equals DIE. You might as well be dead if you get on a plane, if you get on a bus, if you get on anything, even looking for a doctor today. It's all about diversity, equity, and inclusion. So I think we need to pray for discernment, for boldness, for sure, and not to be overcome by evil. Paul the Apostle tells us to become not to be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. And living a godly life, standing up and teaching and preaching and sharing Christ, and let people know that the only way out of this mess is Jesus. Bottom line. That might sound too simplistic, for people want revenge. People are angry and people are upset. People are fearful. People are confused. And who wouldn't be? But I think Christians are the only one who can give a very fair, balanced perspective on what's going on. Our nation's really needing for prayer, really needing God's people to come through in prayer and avoid fear, avoid the confusion, because God's not a God of confusion. So we want the truth, and we are not going to become by evil. We're going to overcome by evil, but we're going to be overcoming evil with good. The goodness of the gospel is always what we need to do. So our only way out is Christ. And even with the confusion and the fear and the anger. And you're going to see that. You're going to see that. And I think the most probably difficult thing is going to be just prior to the election. And those, I think it's 79 days between election and when the new president comes in or the next president comes in. Those are the real key dates. 79 days in between November and January 21st. Because all kinds of stuff usually happens during that time. So that's enough of that.